Warm welcome to you. You've tuned into the Kenya Wananota Movement, or KWM podcast. Today we're doing a special deep dive into some really potent source material from the KWM itself. We're looking at an article they published dated July 22, 2025, and the title is pretty direct. Kimani Kimanongo, Why Kikuyu Constituency Must Recall Their MP for Reckless Behavior and Leadership Failures. End quote. Our aim here is to give you a shortcut, really, to understanding this significant call for civic action happening in Kenya.
Yes, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how this specific article gets right to the heart of, well, civic accountability. It's about the direct power citizens have. We're not just seeing some general criticism here. No, this is a detailed case being laid out for direct action by the people against their sitting member of parliament in Kikuyu constituency. And it brings up a really fundamental question, one that goes way beyond just this situation. You know, what happens? What tools do people have when they feel their elected leaders aren't just making mistakes, but have fundamentally gone off track, when they feel they're no longer serving the public interest?
Exactly. It's about that power, the people's power to demand something different. So our mission today is to really explore the specific claims the KWM article makes against this MP. We want to understand why the Kenya Wananota movement thinks a recall isn't just, an option, but actually necessary. And maybe most importantly, how the article empowers you, the citizens, urging you to actively reclaim your future. It's more than a story. It feels like a blueprint. Okay, let's get into it. Right, so our main source here comes from Village Action Online. And the Kenya Wananota movement focuses on Kimani Ichungwa. Apparently, the younger generation in Kikuyu calls him Kimani Kimanongo. He's the MP for Kikuyu constituency. So what's the basic problem? The core issue the article raises that sparked this pretty major call for action.
Well, the KWM article doesn't really mince words. It portrays Kimani Kimanongo as someone who's been, and I'm quoting here, stirring controversy with his reckless words and dangerous behavior. It's quite explicit. It says he has failed to serve the people of Kikuyu adequately. And it even claims his whole political approach seems less about finding real solutions and more about the pursuit of drama. So it paints this picture, right? A leader whose public actions, at least according to this source, are just not aligned with what his constituents need or expect. KWM seems to argue it's not just a one-off, but his style.
Okay, and then it gets maybe really personal, right? And perhaps the most contentious part of the article's claims, this alleged slandering of Pastor Dorcas. She's the wife of Deputy President Gachagua. The source is Kimani Kimanongo made a, again, quoting, reckless claim that she's having an affair with another bishop. And keep it without providing any proof. That feels different from standard political attacks, doesn't it? It's hitting at personal reputation.
It really does. And the KWM article frames this as much more than just, an isolated slip-up. If you look at the whole piece, it's presented as part of a larger pattern of irresponsibility. They really stress this idea that accusations without evidence are not just hurtful, they are harmful.
Harmful how? Exactly.
Well, the article argues they create chaos and distrust in society. They make it impossible to move forward, basically eroding that basic level of respect you need for any kind of progress. The source is really firm here. It insists he must be held accountable for spreading lies. It even goes so far as to suggest Pastor Dorcas must sue Kimanongo for defamation and demand compensation for the harm caused. So you see, it shows KWM's push for accountability isn't just about political performance, but also about the ethics of public speech, especially when it targets individuals like this. They're calling for real consequences.
Okay, so moving beyond those very personal and serious accusations, what does this source material tell us about his actual performance as an MP? The day-to-day stuff, the practical needs of the people in Kikuyu. The article seems to suggest a pretty big gap between his focus and their welfare, a real disconnect.
Yes, the KWM source makes a very direct, quite stark link. It says while Kimanongo is allegedly busy attacking innocent people, the people of Kikuyu themselves are, and the word used is suffering. And it's not just a general statement. The article specifically blames the lack of proper healthcare, education, and infrastructure in the constituency directly on his failure as an MP. So KWM is drawing a straight line, you see, between the alleged misbehavior and actual negative impacts on the community he's supposed to represent. It's like saying, if your energy is all on drama, what's left for governing?
And the article really hammers this home with some sharp questions, doesn't it? They feel almost rhetorical. It asks, where are the better roads? Where are the modern schools? Where are the functional hospitals? It's more than just asking. It paints this quite worrying picture of a constituency still, grappling with poverty, poor infrastructure, and inadequate public services. It makes you think this isn't just about promises not kept. It's about people's real daily struggles, things they need, apparently not being addressed while their representative is focused elsewhere. What's the cost of that?
And that's exactly the so what point the KWM is making. The source claims that even though Kimanongo has been in power for years, he has done nothing to address these issues. That's the core to their case regarding his leadership failure, isn't it? That direct connection between the perceived personal controversies, the drama, and the real, tangible, negative effects on the lives of the people he represents. The argument is that crucial time, focus, maybe even resources are being pulled away from essential public services. And that leads to stagnation, to ongoing hardship for the community. It's presented as a systemic issue, not just an oversight.
Right. So this KWM article, it doesn't just lay out the problems. It quickly shifts gears into a really strong call to action. It offers a solution and puts the power very clearly back into the hands of the citizens. It's a real rallying cry. So what does it actually tell you, the citizens of Kikuyu, about how you can, well, make a change in your own area?
The KWM article is incredibly clear on this. The message is, you have the power to take action and make your voices heard. It doesn't hold back. It states Kimani Kimanongo has failed to deliver on his promises and, maybe even stronger, does not care about the welfare of the people. So, based on that assessment, the solution it puts forward is direct. No compromise. Recall Kimani Kimanongo. That's the heart of KWM's proposal. Active, direct citizen involvement as the final check on leadership. The idea that when representation fails, the people's power has to step in.
And it's interesting how they frame the how-to part. It describes the recall process not as some complex legal maze, but as simple. It says, gather signatures, get the support of your community, and take action. It's really pushing back against waiting around. It urges, don't wait for anyone else to do it. This is your chance to demand better leadership and a brighter future for Kikuyu constituency.
Yeah.
It feels less like theory and more like a practical guide for collective action, where lots of individual voices come together to actually force a change. It emphasizes that democracy isn't a spectator sport.
Absolutely. And what I found particularly forward-looking in this KWM piece is how it specifically includes and empowers the voice of Gen Z. The article points out that the younger generation in Kikuyu, the Gen Zs, has already spoken. It describes them as being tired of the same old politicians who promise change but never deliver. And crucially, they apparently see Kimani Kimanongo as an opportunist who uses drama and controversy for personal gain.
That's quite a statement.
It is, and the source makes it very clear. Gen Z is away, and the future belongs to you. It gives them this really central role in the movement, role maybe often overlooked. It suggests, I think, a recognition that the energy and perhaps the directness of the younger generation are key drivers for change. They bridge that gap between past complaints and future possibilities. It's a powerful outreach to a group that sometimes feels disconnected from politics.
And this focus on citizen power, on collective action, leads us perfectly to something important for you, the listener. The Kenyawattam Nota movement is fundamentally about empowering citizens. Exactly this kind of thing. So if this discussion has sparked something in you, if you feel inspired, add your voice to be part of shaping a better future where you are, then please visit www.wattamnotam.com. Go there, create your account. This platform is designed for this exact kind of grassroots activity. You'll find all 47 counties in Kenya listed. Find your county, and you can start posting your own ideas, sharing your thoughts, contributing to changes that could really make a difference in your village, your city, even the whole nation. Again, that's www.wattamnotam.com. It's your direct line to getting involved. Okay, so we've heard the criticisms, the call to action. What about the future? What does the KWM article say this could all lead to for Kikuyu? It's not just about removing someone, is it? It seems to paint a picture, an aspirational one, of what could come after this action is taken. It offers a vision.
That's right. The source explicitly invites you, the citizen, to do a bit of imagining. It says, imagine a Kikuyu where the schools are well-funded, the roads are in good condition, and the healthcare system works for everyone. It's not vague. It's about real, tangible improvements to everyday life. And it goes further, envisioning a Kikuyu where politicians are accountable to the people and not to their own egos. So that suggests a deeper change, right? Not just swapping one person for another, but a shift in how leadership operates, creating a healthier, more functional community where public service actually means serving the public.
And the article is very clear, isn't it, that this future, this better Kikuyu, isn't just a fantasy. It says it's within reach, but it requires action. The message couldn't be much clearer. You must act now to make sure the next generation of leadership is one that works for the people, not for personal gain. It really drives home that idea that the power to shape society, to determine the quality of life for everyone, it rests with the citizens. The KWM, through this piece, gives both the argument and a potential tool to organize and use that power. It's all about being proactive.
And that brings us right back to this core idea of active citizenship, doesn't it? The article's final thought really serves as its ultimate call to arms. It declares, "The future of Kikuyu lies in your hands." It's an urgent plea. Don't let Kimani Kimanongo continue to undermine the future of your community. Take action today and demand better. Together, you can create the Kikuyu that future generations will be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, that really captures the whole spirit of the Kenya Wantamnoto movement, doesn't it? That real, lasting change doesn't just trickle down from the top. It grows from the ground up, from engaged, informed, and determined citizens working together. It's a powerful statement about community agency.
So as we wrap up this particular deep dive, the main message coming through from the Kenya Wantamnoto movement and this article is really one of empowerment and accountability. It's a strong reminder, isn't it, that yes, leaders are elected, they're given authority, but the ultimate power, the real sovereignty, always stays with the people they're meant to serve. And importantly, this article shows there are structured, democratic ways to push for change when people feel that leadership isn't meeting its basic duties.
Definitely. What really strikes me is how it manages to combine very specific complaints with a very clear, actionable way forward for people. And all of it is underpinned by this really positive vision for what the community could achieve together. It's a practical, compelling example of civic engagement in action, using a platform designed just for that.
Exactly. And remember, the Kenya Wantamnoto movement platform is built for exactly this, for every citizen's voice to count, to contribute to collective action. So if you feel ready to add your voice to be part of that change in your community, your nation, visit www.wantamnotom.com. Create that account. All 47 counties are there. Find yours. Start posting. Share your ideas. Help shape the future of your village, your city, your nation. That's www.wantamnotom.com. This article, and KWM itself, really underscores that the biggest changes often start when ordinary, informed citizens decide to step up and get involved. Thank you so much for listening to the Kenya Wantamnoto Movement KWM podcast. We really hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights into the incredible power of community action and what it means to be truly informed and engaged.